Under the terms of the agreement, Ukraine would be a de facto member of NATO, but could only intervene if they themselves were attacked, exempting them from Article 5, where an attack on one is an attack on them all. This was apparently a compromise to maintain Ukraine's armed neutrality, particularly as the Russian occupation of Crimea and the frozen conflict in Donbass has caused public opinion to be divided as to whether to join NATO properly. Ukraine's entry into the alliance marks the 34th nation to join NATO since its founding in 1949. In other news, President Sean Wells claimed that, despite the continuing economic knock-on effects from the insurrection in Alabama last year, America was still on track to come out of the economic crisis the nation has been in for the last 10 years, a crisis exacerbated by the Ira virus 4 years ago. While much of the Eurozone has recovered from what is being called a second Great Depression, America has been slower than much of the world to recover, though this has had little effect on Wells's approval rating in the country. Hello again, I'm Isaiah Davies, and I've just been handed some rather disturbing news coming out of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, two parts of the nation of Georgia that have been occupied by Russia since 2008. Apparently, for the second time in less than 20 years, war has broken out over the territories between Russia and Georgia. For a report on the conflict, we now go live to Finlay Clark, who is currently just outside of Vladikavkaz, Russia. Finlay?
Isaiah, the Georgian Republic is once again at war. Following a skirmish between Russian and Georgian troops earlier this morning, part of a border conflict that has been going on for 3 months, President Svetlana Aksoyanov ordered Russian troops in the area to move in. In the distance, I can see several T-90s, in addition to what must be hundreds of troops moving forward, and given the size of the invading forces, it does not appear as if this will be like the 2008 war, where Russia settled for just Abkhazia and South Ossetia.
What about the Georgian forces? Are you seeing anything on your end?
Despite the border conflict, Georgian troops were taken completely by surprise, and though they've put up some stiff resistance, they have been forced to pull back, at least over here anyway. However, considering the size of the invading forces, one wonders if the Georgian Republic can really do anything to stem what must certainly be insurmountable forces.
NATO and the Georgian Republic have held close relations since the Russo-Georgian War of 2008. Is there any chance that NATO could intervene on the Georgian Republic's behalf?
That seems unlikely. While the Georgian Republic was in talks to join NATO since the Russo-Estonian War 5 years ago, the fact that the Georgian Republic has not formally joined means that NATO is under no pressure to actually intervene despite the aggression shown by the Russians this decade. Those were two Su-57s that just flew overhead. While I've seen a couple of Georgian Su-25s, it doesn't seem likely that the Georgian Air Force has any air superiority at the moment.
Okay, Finlay, thank you for the report. Stay in touch.
This is still an actively developing situation here, Isaiah, so I appreciate it.
There has been no reaction yet on the part of NATO or the United States at this time, but it is believed that a reaction may come at any moment.